But do you think that all of this then is based on some... because you were short, because you were thin, or because what?
I don't know how inferiority begins. It's an awfully difficult thing to analyse, maybe. Isn't it? I don't suppose any of us are truly objective about ourselves. But I think all inferiority does begin with the thing in your mind, the other image in your mind, which you always feel you cannot possibly reach to. You can't possibly become. And my image in my mind, my dream image of what I should be, is a great, I mean, it's something so fabulous. Physically a superb specimen, a beautiful head, a magnificent head, a straight nose, not this boss-eyed thing I've got with one nostril larger than the other, you know, and these awful teeth. But to think that you really have beautiful teeth and lovely skin and a beautiful face and lovely eyes and, oh, I think all women are, but they're very tough to boot. If you were, say, tough to boot. Now, all these things I know I'm not, so I've got to be satisfied and pretend, you know, that I am something all right. And consequently, you see, you find yourself saying, oh, yes, well, I'm really lovely. I like a dish. Oh, I'm so attractive. And, you know, you desperately try. I remember a man who, in a show where the producer was always saying to him, you walk so badly, Geoffrey, you walk so badly, and your voice is so bad. And this boy used to always reply, thank you, yes, it is a beautiful walk, isn't it? My voice is wonderful, isn't it? Because he daren't acknowledge any of these appalling frailties and weaknesses.
Do you think you got it more because you were from a working-class background or not?
Working-class background? No, I've known loads of people who've got exactly my problems who came from upper-class backgrounds. No, I don't think that makes any difference. I think all this rubbish about class deciding you know, apropos of a mental attitude to life is a lot of rubbish.
In papers that I've read, you know, cuttings that I've read about you, you've openly admitted that you cry.
Oh, yes, I weep uncontrollably at certain tragic things in plays or in novels. Yes, I wept like a baby about the death of Albert in the Lady Longford biography of Victoria. That sheer, utter, appalling sadness of this great loved one leaving, and the fact that she couldn't bear it, just prostrated herself on that bed and cried and wailed. They said it was heard all over Windsor. Terrible, terrible wailing noise. I just found myself weeping.
Do you cry over sort of rather silly things, though, as well as big things?
No,
I mean, I cry over, this is your life, you see. As soon as somebody comes in and shows them their life, that makes me absolutely weep.
Really?
And Land of Hope and Glory, if I ever hear that.
I weep, too. I weep at things like Paper Moon, you know, Love Story. I weep at that. I suppose that people would say that shows a very sentimental streak in me. I suppose I am sentimental, deeply, yes. I cry my eyes out over things like that. Oh, it's so beautiful. They're old and like that. Identify immediately with it and love it.
In your own life, you've chosen to be on your own quite a lot.
Yes, but I've chosen to live alone simply because the whole process of line learning and thinking yourself into something else, you know, if you're going to do these parts and things, it requires privacy for a start, and of course love is the most, well, terrifying invasion of privacy that there is. There's no greater invader, is there, of privacy than the loved one, and loved ones get affronted. They're very angry indeed if you shut doors in their face and say, go away, I don't want to see you today. Oh, well, I'm sorry, and you get a terrible grace.
That's right.
Well, I live alone.
Yes.
And mind you, on the other hand, one has to admit the paradox of it all is one does need people, and anyone pretending that they don't is lying to themselves. Either that or they're something of a saint, and I'm neither. So I acknowledge the fact that I need people, and I rush to friends for sustenance, and certainly I'm very lucky in my friends. I get it from them, tremendous sustenance. Every time I feel I'm totally unworthy and I'll never be able to do anything again that's any good. Now, every now and again you're absolutely, you know, invaded by that thought that you're no good at all. You'll never be able to walk on a stage and do anything effective again. You suddenly feel bereft of any talent. And you can rush to them and say, oh, I just feel so totally inadequate. They say, rubbish. Very good indeed. And Rona Anderson, Gordon Jackson's my favourite child, and Rona said to me the other day, oh, it's very much your period, this, isn't it? You're looking better these days. You're rather blooming in this period. And I said, oh, you think? Oh, yes, I am. Perhaps it is my period. Well, it never occurred to me before that it rang in my brain for the rest of the day. This is your period. You know, one was terribly grateful for that kind of encouragement. Have you noticed that, too, that things people say in a conversation which probably didn't have that as its fulcrum. One remark, a side remark, one casual remark, stays in your head the whole time.
And it glows, doesn't it? It glows, yes.
Absolutely.
Yes. But, Kenneth, when you sort of said that, you know, the minute ago you said that you've got these friends who will say these things to you, Do you ever find it an awful effort, though, to sort of, you have to, because you're on your own, right, you have to say to them, I do need you now. I've got to come and see you now. You see, whereas what I do is there's somebody around in my own house.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Now, that, because the life is so solitary, these overtures have to be made. You have to telephone, you have to ring up. They get used to leaving you alone.
That's right.
They get used to it. So you have to ring up and you have to say things like, oh, I feel just terrible tonight. And you make up little codes whereby they know, from the sound of your voice or whatever, oh, they think, oh, he's lonely, he's on his own tonight, you know. Well, look, if you like, you can come over. Oh, well, if it wouldn't be too mad, I want to put you out,
yes,
you know.
quite.
And you grab it, you see, and you're in there doing it.
When we were talking about humour and said that tragedy was part of it, right?
Yes.
You'd also said to me on the phone when I talked to you that malice is a great part of humour.
I think, yes, I would say an essential part of wit.
And you feel that women aren't as malicious as men?
They never are, no. Women, by their very nature, this is why this whole gay, you know, women's lib thing is so ludicrous, you know, I mean, as if it's something new that women should suddenly have a position. They've always had it, and all the women that were ever any good jolly well thought it, be Emily Pankhurst or whether it was Amelia Bloomer taking off the crinoline and showing her drawers. You know, whatever they were going to do, they were going to do it. Nobody stopped them, didn't matter what laws. Well, look at Florence Nightingale, the bane of the War Office, and all that she achieved as a pioneer, the revolution in hospitals, the building of hospitals, the building, let alone the fact, you know, the method of nursing, the actual building of hospital. St Thomas is a superb example, the original building, of the way she thought a hospital should be designed. And the fact that she spent 7 years in Mount Street sitting in bed, an old lady designing the drainage system for Delhi, Madras, Calcutta, and did all that from letters and drawings sent to her by the Royal Engineers, did all that from her bedroom. I mean, it's a gargantuan feat.
She, in fact, she had to go to bed, mind, because otherwise she wasn't going to be left alone, you see.
Precisely, yes.
Because they weren't going to take her seriously.
But what a victory! To have achieved all that as a woman. And as soon as you think in terms of what women can suffer, how they can suffer, their patience, their enormous patience, and their ability, you know, this thing about a woman's hand is not so sensitive to heat as a man. You know that thing? They always say that. I've often got, I can't touch that teapot. And they say, oh, come on, they do it.
Because I've got more used to handling teapots, and my hand is more used to it, isn't it?
But they are gentler too, and this is why they hardly ever do use malice in the way that men will. Men will use it straight away, never stop. I mean, bitching, I don't understand why that word, you know, should have a female connotation, because bitching is exclusively male. It's men that do it more than anybody else. Women don't. That's why when women are malicious, like Dorothy Parker or whatever, or in my profession, Coral Brown, wonderfully witty woman, why are they suddenly, you know, highlighted? Why does everyone suddenly quote them? Because they're rare. Women averagely aren't very malicious.
Tell me a joke that a woman can tell well.
A woman can tell.
Oh, can you illustrate Coral Brown's
Coral Brown can tell jokes
humour?
as well as I would, yes.
But with that kind of malice that a man will do you say?
No, Coral would tell a joke like this, for instance, this joke, which is really, I always maintain, a sort of social joke. I think it's written by some terrible socialist sitting in the back room somewhere, about a lady whose feet are covered in newspaper. She's got rags on. She's outside the Savoy. This very ritzy woman arrives, covered in mink, gets out of the rolls with a poodle and a jewelled collar. And the old girl hobbles up and says to her, oh, lady, help me, I haven't eaten for 3 days. And the very ritzy woman passes by saying, well, my dear, you must simply force yourself. Well, now that, you see, Coral would tell superb.
It's a nasty joke, really, isn't it?
Well, yes, of course. But then, well, there you are, that's what I mean. Nastiness is basic in all jokes. Just as it's nasty, I suppose, to laugh at anyone's misfortune. The old lady falling over on a banana skin. You know, I once saw a lady hurtle down an escalator. I saw her go boom, 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 all the way down an escalator. It was frightening, absolutely frightening. But people did laugh, and then afterwards they rushed to the bottom of the stairs and said, are you all right, darling? Are you all right? We saw you go. Oh, it was terrible, the bloomers and everything. We saw you going, you know. You all right, love? Well, they'll say afterwards, be very sympathetic. But fundamentally, it's a very cruel situation.
It is, but you see, I think partly, do you think, it is that you laugh from nerves. I mean,
yes, you do, and in a way, the bad taste thing, like, you know, the man on the Titanic saying, waiter, I know I ordered ice, but this is ridiculous, is really being a sort of sanity valve for you against what you know is fundamentally horrifying.
I'm about to have difficulty ending this programme, which is now what we're doing, and I've got to say thank you.
Oh, we've only just started.
I know.
Oh,
thank you very much, Kenneth Williams.
Oh, well, thank you, Maeve.